Josh, we will at some point probably need an intro to the podcast as the thing, because obviously the last one doesn't really make much sense anymore because it's me going, and welcome back to the Stick Drift podcast.
You just dub over it very poorly. Welcome back to Talk.
Welcome back to the Talk Show. A
Yeah.
podcast for all things bum 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 bum. But like we gotta figure it out, alright? We gotta eventually. I just made that from like the intro of like our second episode. I just went, sure, this sounds good enough, so I guess I'll make that the intros to the podcast. We gotta have a new one. Okay, you know what? The moment we have a good take of this, I'm send this as the intro. Car news.
Is this where I say something, or
Racing game news
and motorsport?
and motorsports news, all here every week
That's
on
the
the
one.
Talk Show. And then maybe
was
it'll
close
play
enough.
the thing. But the moment we have a good take of that, it's being sent. Yes, welcome back to the Talk Show, the podcast out every single week for all things car culture, racing games, and motorsports. Now rebranded, and our second episode under the Talk Show. We've got a fair bit of news, joined as always by my co-host Josh, who
By a bit of news. The news gets less and less every week.
it really has been. It's like this. There's just been like no.
It's getting to that point of the year where it's not summer, it's not winter. There's just no one's doing anything.
Honestly, man, but we do have some. There's some graves we can potentially dance on, and on top of that, yes, joined with my co-host Josh, who actually knows cars, and I, your co-host Sid, who has a
Knows the
job,
crew.
who plays the crew and has a job in cars, yet is the one who doesn't know cars. So
If this was about vanities and the crew tour or crew Motorfest, you'd be.
you know
a
what? If it
beast.
was a crew podcast with like a minor in editing, it would be. I'd be on there. I'd be
Easy.
if it was a podcast all about just random bits of knowledge here and there, I'd be this I would fit in more. But here I am, someone who works in cars and then someone who actually should probably work in cars, with a fair bit to talk about today. And by a fair bit, I mean exactly what I'm about to say. In fact, we'll probably just jump into quick news because sure as hell will be quick because there ain't a lot of it. We also hosted, Josh competed, I hosted the Demo League brought to you by The Talk Show. That was the other day. And a reminder as we go into this to like the podcast, share the podcast, review it and whatnot. Bloody share the
All of those
podcast.
and more.
And more. If you were sharing the podcast to your friend Josh, how would you recommend it?
I would click the share button down below, copy link, and send it to them in DM and say, "I can't believe I just found this amazing show. You should listen to it!"
So that
Exclamation mark.
that is
shocked face.
with the
emoji.
shocked face emoji and throwing a duck emoji there at the end.
And
as
then
well.
the shouting emoji, and the 100 emoji, and the fire emoji. as well.
Exactly.
For good measure.
I've been called out for using the duck emoji more times than I would wish. You know, it's such a
I've got the eagle on. Eagle and the ox are my go-to. Because the eagle is just like a... They're both just essentially the straight face emoji, but one's an ox and one's an eagle. So,
I like the duck emoji because it lets me. It's the duck emoji and the man with cane emoji, which I love because they are
The
perfect.
man with the cane's a good one.
Right, they are perfect for making a sentence sound unserious. I remember I at multiple points talking to people, they would call out the fact that I would just put a duck emoji at the end of any message that almost became serious. It's the perfect strategy. You have a
It's
good
basically /s, but like an emoji.
yeah, exactly. But speaking of hopefully they're being sarcastic, here we have some bits of quick news on the podcast today. We have the Huracan STJ which is a Huracan something or other. What is?
It's an STO, but it makes a bit more power and has a bit more rear wing on it.
Yeah, it's
Like it actually just is an STO. Look at it.
yeah, yeah, very much. I see the
But it's got a bigger wing.
it's got like a fin
What?
though. This one's got a fin. You see that?
Oh my bad.
I mean, people really like the what is this thing? The SVJ? No, that's a SVJ's an Aventador. What is
Yeah, STO.
STO? That's what it is. Yeah, I've seen one of these in person. You know, it sounded pretty nice.
Oh.
It was in London, just on the road. But yeah, no, this thing, the rims look different to an STO. Look,
Like the color is the only way I'd even be able to tell them apart if I ever saw them.
so
together.
yeah, to describe this to the audio listeners, it is just an STO.
If you've seen an STO,
Yeah.
it's that, but like a metallic marina blue.
But from the guys over at CarWow, the last car to use the 5.2 liter non-applicable V10.
Yeah, it doesn't
what?
exist.
Yeah, the NA V10.
Well, it might not be if Audi make another R8 variant, which
Which, to be fair,
I mean-
oh, to be fair, we can talk about that as well this episode too. Audi for the 7th time have finished the
Yeah.
R8. So
they're claiming they're serious this time.
Yeah,
until
this
they
time-
find 10 more in the back of a warehouse and stick a wing on them and go, final edition?
exactly the 7th final edition.
Yeah.
With 631 horsepower. That sounds like a lot to me. I mean, that sounds
Yeah,
pretty-
that's more than the STO.
There you go. 10% more downforce. Is that just the fin? Is that
That's
what the-
just what you need when you're stuck in London traffic. How
exactly.
are you going to stick to the road at 20 mile an hour without that 10% more downforce?
I spent all this money on an STO. I should have just waited if I just had 10% more downforce.
Yeah,
Oh.
basically, yeah.
I could be stuck behind this never-ending traffic if I just had 10% more downforce. No. Racing shocks and bespoke Bridgestone Potenza
Whoa.
race tires. Josh, what does that even mean?
Why are they only changing the shocks and not the springs as well? Which, sure, I guess.
Hmm.
Gonna be a bit firmer, but then bespoke Bridgestone tyres. Sounds cool until you need to get new tyres, and Bridgestone haven't made them in about 20 years. Yeah.
You'd think you'd prefer your tires be rubber, though, no? Rather than stone. That can't be a very comfortable ride, I imagine.
I mean, they're recycled bridges, aren't they? So I guess
It's
rubber is
it's
made
from
of.
Bridgestone. Yeah, see, business must have been booming the moment that boat hit in wherever that was.
Yeah, go get your steel tyres out.
Yeah, right, from Bridgestone, and then that bridge got hit in America. Now the business booming. Limited to 10 units, so this is gonna cost
They
$1
had
billion
10 STOs left over, and they were like, what do we do with these? And I make them an audition and charge £2 million more.
Do these stand for anything? STO, STJ, SVJ?
I know it's S, SV, SVJ in terms of tiers, so I'd assume it's S, ST. Is it an ST?
STO, yeah.
I don't know Lamborghini subdivision tiers.
Who knows what
It
Lamborghini
probably stands for super tall order. How did I?
And then look,
Imagine something Italian and pretentious. I
at
imagine it's
least
that.
this is a Lamborghini. In the most, why have you put this in the news section? Alfa Romeo announces, say hello to the Alfa Romeo Milano.
Stupid the grill is.
It's so bad. Wait.
They've taken the lion eating a letter from the badge and stuck it on the grill.
Look,
don't know
I
why.
feel like the heart was there. I feel like the grill idea that they've used, it's a good idea in concept.
They're
be
stuck
fair.
to using the weird sort of diamond grill shape, which screws them over because they can't fit the animal in there.
Yeah, but I do think that grill idea is cool. In execution, it's very dumb. So for
On the Giulia Quattrofoglio, it might look a bit bad. But
yeah, true. For describe this car for the audio listeners.
What's the normal Alfa Romeo SUV called? I forget.
I have no idea. I mean, where I was gonna begin was a Peugeot, because that's what this is reeking to me.
Peugeot 3008
Mm.
with Alfa Romeo Giulia headlights and sort of grille design.
Mm.
but the front triangle at the grille has been replaced with a slab of matte black plastic with the Alfa Romeo insignia,
Yeah, it's like cut
like
out of
embossed
it.
in. Yeah, cut out. Yeah, cut out.
It's got a. Does it just look like the other Alfa Romeo SUV? I mean, Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, I mean the little crossover thing they have at the minute, and
Yeah.
then it's now EV.
And oh, this is EV now. Oh.
Well, EV and petrol.
Look, I mean,
Sure.
at least the fact that they did the 33 Stradale does kind of make up. It does.
They
kinda
didn't make the
up.
33 star, did they?
They're making 33 of them. Of course they are.
Of course they are. I hate the wheels on this thing.
Oh sure. I mean, what you guys like Alfa rims, regard? I
Not
don't...
these ones. These ones are just kind of a cross. Like they're actually just a plus symbol from maths.
I almost like these ones more than the regular Alfa ones. But the 33 Stradale, I feel like the 33 Stradale almost makes up for this thing, because I've been liking the 33 Stradale more and more recently.
The more I see it, it's the opposite for me. The more I see it, the more I'm like, what were they thinking?
I'd have to see one in person. I do feel like I'd have to see one in
You're
person.
not going to.
No, I'm never going to. No, but I feel like they were going the right direction, but then it just kind of got lost in the sauce a little, and then they ended up with something like this.
Yeah.
As a legacy sequel, to be fair, right? As like a legacy car, it's pretty cool that it's like, you know, it's a newer version of the old one, right?
Yeah, but the old one looks better.
It's kind of funny how like movies are doing all these sequel things, and then cars went, oh yeah, let's actually. Oh, okay. If
Nostalgia prints money. Is the
exactly.
thing.
Like
an
the
easy money
Countach,
method.
MR2's coming back as well, right? The Toyota's doing an MR2.
They're not going to call it the MR2.
Oh, sure, but it's going to be basically. I mean, you say that the RX, whatever, the concept that they made, even though the point of the RX series was that a new one is called RX, and then the next one, the numbers 9 is what it would be, because they stopped at 8. Everyone was like, is this the new RX-7? Because that's the one people like. Because that's the one people like. That's the one where they're like, is this the? Oh my God, is this the RX-7?
That's the issue.
Yep, that's where we're stuck, I suppose, with this legacy malarkey. But I think it does for some cool stuff. Look, Top Gun Maverick was a great film. Thus, a legacy car could also be. Right. There you go. But these are two companies.
Alfa Romeo Milano isn't a legacy car though.
Oh no, that thing bad. I'm talking about the Stradale here. To be fair, look, there was such little about the Milano that it was like, let me just talk about the cooler car.
134 horsepower, petrol version.
134.
That's gonna be as slow as imagine an aircraft carrier in a drag race, but that's as quick as that.
Hey, I mean, only 35 grand. That's cheap, to be fair. Starting 35.
Yeah, but
for
it's
an Alfa Romeo
Stellantis Italy product.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Yeah, but
you say cheap for an Alfa Romeo. The Mito existed.
Oh
and
God,
still exists.
yeah, I forget Alfa Romeo. How did they have the audacity to make the Stradale? Now that I think about it, like they really have. Yeah, no, you're right. The Mito really. What happened? What happened?
The Mito's a banger. They made one good run. No, they didn't.
Yeah. Oh God, claim the Mito was
I think the Mito is a Fiat 500.
Yeah.
Like, I'm almost certain about it. Look at it. You can see, apart from the stretched front, it's a 500 with a kit on it.
Yeah. But Alfa Romeo was a cool brand. All the Italian brands, man, they fell off.
It was cool, yeah. Especially once they discontinued the Mito, they fell off.
Yeah, that's what really made them fall off. But speaking of falling off, that is what this episode of the podcast is all about. It's because we fell off. That's what it is.
I was gonna say, I don't know where you're going with that, but yeah, it's because we fell off.
That's what any episode of the podcast really is. It's just because we fell. The talk show, you know. People saw talk and they were like, this isn't my Stick Drift podcast. Speaking of falling off, there's a brand that had a massive fall off. And there's a brand that could be going in the direction of a massive fall off. And I don't want to admit it, but it's worrying. It's distressing for me. But we begin with a brand that got a lot of praise from this very podcast 2 years ago.
I was going to say, not recently.
And then over the last year, it started going very downhill. And that is the story of the UK's own Lotus. What happened? So, 2 years ago, you were very hyped about Lotus. Lotus did they only had like the Evora. They had the
Evora was a terrible looking car.
Exige. They had
Exige and Elise were cancelled.
But
they only had the Evora for 2 years, so it was looking quite bleak.
But
then they announced the
Emira, right?
Emira,
and
they said
was gonna be
£60,000. Yeah. It wasn't £60,000. It wasn't £70,000.
Yeah.
It's £86,000.
Oh.
Which is not 60 last time I checked.
Yeah.
So bad brand now, officially. Oh, then they made an EV SUV, so pretty much over.
It wasn't just that. I'm telling you right now, it wasn't just that. So they did this. They also had the concept of the Evija, right?
They are making that. They're like, you can buy them.
Yeah.
When it will get delivered.
Yeah.
If they're still in business by then, I don't know.
I've got the Lego version, so what else do you need? There is a physical version. I'm looking at it right now. But the Evija, I think looking at that, it was definitely started to be like, okay, what are Lotus doing? What are they doing?
The Evija's cool. Like it's like
the back
as a proof of concept.
Yeah.
It's cool, but like. It should have said a concept. It should never have been made.
I love the back. The back.
Yeah.
And the way that they have like a hole in the like the side.
Door.
In the door, and then it goes through the car, exiting out the light. The Evija, whatever.
Now imagine trying to make that with any form of production tolerances.
Yeah. But what a sick car.
Has that even been delivered yet?
Probably not. Honestly, probably not. These things, though, it was looking pretty alright. It was a cool concept from...
Delivery start August 2023.
Okay, I see. So, it's a good thing none of these are on the road, or no one's seen any on TikTok, or...
130 have sold out, so, I mean...
Well, I don't think I've ever seen a clip of one on the road. There's not any
No, they haven't
images.
actually delivered one to customers, I don't think, yet.
No, not at all. I mean, even the one for the Lego set was a render. That's shocking. But the Lotus, they would definitely get a bit with the Evija, given no sales, but we didn't know that a while back. The Emira, oh, for God's sake, also, Lotus, what we didn't realize, because Exige, whatever, they were named whatever. Now, Lotus just seem to hit the E key and then bash their head on the keyboard and call it the name of a car. It does my head in. So the Emira, we saw one in person as well. We saw one of the first Emiras, I think it was. It was very early on,
it would have been, like one of the really, really early first gens.
It was when you were still thinking of buying an Emira.
I do think they look nice in person.
Yeah.
But they're not worth what Lotus want from.
I mean, okay, so there's obviously a depreciation segment of the podcast that rears its ugly head every now and then. If Britain's Ferrari over here, the Lotus Emira, if it did depreciate to a certain price, what's the price?
They are already in the bin, but yeah.
What's the price it has to come down to that you go, you know what? Maybe I get a Lotus Emira.
I mean, cheaper than an Evora is basically what it is at this point.
What's an Evora at?
The later gen good ones, the ones you actually want to buy, are like sort of 35-ish now.
Yeah.
I'd say 35, 30 is where they sort of become a good buy. Especially when Exige is... You could buy like an Exige 330 Cup for 30, 35.
So that's when they become
a good buy? Much better car than the Emira.
Yeah. But if they're becoming a good buy, where are they going? And then...
And that's the end of this episode.
And then Lotus also. So they do the Evija. And then I think... You know what's wild? If you go back to the episode where this thing was first announced, we were praising, you especially, really, were absolutely praising the announcement of the Lotus SUV, the Elytra. you were all over it. You were saying good
Yeah.
SUV. You were saying
I
Lotus.
thought it was more 2008 size,
Yeah, yeah.
not Battleship. But,
So I remember you really praising this thing. Then we heard that it was getting out to consumers, and then just one day you came back. You were like, "I saw an Elytra IRL. That is the worst thing ever made. Tell me
it's
about
like
it."
when because it's got the like sort of grill that comes out like a nose, like a beak or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's higher on the window level of the car. What am I looking at? Just drive past this, like, no, that is terrible.
So what really ruined seeing this car in person? What was
It's
it?
big, it's ugly, it looks like it's made of plastic, which I guarantee it probably is.
Mm.
It's just stupid looking, really.
And Lotus were almost about to make the good SUV, the best SUV as we claimed, but then it is a boat. I mean, we've driven past some and
Bit of an
just
understatement.
looking at them in person, yeah, they are massive. It is monstrous, these cars.
I
there's-
don't get what market they're meant for, because they don't sell. I can't imagine they sell in the US.
Mm.
They nowhere else wants a car the size of a small country.
Well, I mean, if it was the size of a small country with, thank God it's EV, if it was the size of a small country with oil in it, maybe America would want it. But the Lotus Elytra, completely downhill. Then what we hear
Completely
instead,
forgot they're making the sedan.
and then, yep, that's what I was about to get onto. And then we start hearing rumors that Lotus is making was it 4-door? They're making a 4-door luxury sedan. And that sedan, what was it even called? The Lotus
Emia,
whatever.
It's one of those variations of E.
Which I think I was in denial when it first came out, because I wanted it to be good. This is when Lotus was good. Until
Is this out, by the way?
It's at whatever car show this was. They released this car and they showed images of this car. And straight away, the thing that makes this go absolutely downhill for me is the bug eyes.
The spider eyes don't look horrible.
Yeah, it just it looks like a Ben 10 alien. It does my head in that they ruined the car like this. Because I quite enjoy the rest of this car. I think the rest of it is pretty cool. The back is pretty cyberpunk, I must say. There it is. The back of this thing, I think it's very nice. But
How's this thing spelt, name-wise?
EMEYA. But this thing, I like it. I think it's cool until we saw the front of it, and then
what class do you think Lotus class this as?
Oh, it's probably not sedan. What are they? They'll probably say like Grand Tourer or something. I don't know, sport.
It's their Hyper GT.
Yeah, all right. So this thing, also looks massive. Also looks like it's gonna be a boat. They must be pandering to America here, because look at this.
Not sold in the US.
It's not sold in the US. Well, what are they doing then? So
China.
Oh yeah, I guess. Oh god, it is long as well. Whoa.
It's an actual boat as well. Yeah.
This thing right here. Oh god. Crazy. So Lotus did this as well, and their reputation just went down and down and down and down.
The issue is they don't make sports cars anymore.
Yeah. Well, the Emira.
Grand Tourer.
Oh. What counts as a sports car?
The Evora, it's the exact same chassis as the Evora, and the Evora is a Grand Tourer.
Oh, okay.
It's literally, imagine an Evora, but it's rebodied. That is what the Emira is.
It does look a lot nicer, I will say.
That's why the Elise and the Exige were on sale at the same time.
Maybe it is.
Because the Elise was the ultra basic sports car. The Exige was the sort of performance track car. And then you had the Grand Tourer and the Evora. And now you just essentially have a rebodied Evora, a 2-ton boat, and then a 2.5-ton aircraft carrier. So.
And the lesson we learn here today is that maybe it is what's on the outside that matters. But tell you what, there's been a bunch of renders of this thing as a wagon. It does look pretty sick as a wagon. It does.
Doesn't stop them losing money.
No, but like, look at that. Oof, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
You talk about doesn't stop them losing money. See, now, Lotus actually very recently signed up just their electric department onto the stock exchange. The whatever that's called, the American Stock Exchange, just their electric department onto that.
Because the petrol department's not going to exist in a few years.
Yeah.
Because their naming scheme fries my brain. Emira is their last petrol car.
Yeah. No.
So I guarantee there's not a single person left in the combustion department.
And then it's just Lotus EV is all left of Lotus, which is, it's funny how it's the brands that just made it onto the ship before it sank, right? Like, Lotus is one of them, Porsche sailing the ship.
Lotus has jumped ship way too early.
Yeah, because it's like Aston Martin, right? I keep seeing more and more quotes of them being like, we are not doing EVs. It's just constant, like, it's constant Aston Martin going, we're not touching them. We're not touching them anymore. We're delaying them. We've seen how bad they are. We would never do EVs. We wouldn't. And it's all being pushed back. They were like, probably not till like 2030, something like that. They are just going, no, please, dear God, no more EVs. And any other company that was going to, I think, has also kind of been backing out a little bit.
Yeah, the sales, they just are in the bin, essentially. Volkswagen confirm it because they make cheap cars.
Yeah.
There is no market for £100,000 Lotus EV.
Yeah.
Like, generally, what is the target market? The Range Rover buyer?
Yeah.
They're just going to buy a Range Rover.
Yeah. It's rough.
Because Lotus doesn't have brands. Like, to the general public, Lotus doesn't mean anything, really, anymore. Like, they made... General public see them as, they made essentially kit cars for the road.
Yeah.
That's not a brand people really look up to.
Yeah.
It's not like Jaguar making them. Like, Jaguar SUV, I can see having some appeal to the Land Rover buyer. Not this.
No.
These will... If they bring the SUV to the UK, it will be the worst selling Lotus they have ever made. I guarantee it.
What, which one?
The sedan.
The Emira.
Emira, yeah. It's too close to the Emira. It's...
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
Speaking of boats, however, on Twitter there was some big discourse recently on a car that I think is actually pretty cool. But everyone's getting real up in arms about it. They're real upset about it because they keep calling it a boat. But I think that this thing is kind of sick. I'm trying to find it. It was some kind of Chrysler, I think.
Oh, Cadillac.
Was it a Cadillac?
Yeah, I know. It's the thing, like 8 nautical miles long, isn't it? And it's like a really sort of sweeping down.
I think that thing looks right.
That thing's been around for years.
So yeah, it just made its way onto
I suppose like Cadillac is back, boaty, slow, inefficient. Peak car designers return.
But to be fair, it looks like something right out of Cyberpunk, and that's why I like it. That's the only...
Yeah.
I might have to allow the fact that this thing is an absolute boat, long as hell. Because, like,
what it's called.
Being driven in this thing, Cadillac Celestic.
The
Cadillac Celestic. It just, look, if I was getting driven around in a Cadillac Celestic, I'd feel like a baller. This thing looks so cool for something like that. And that's what's gonna stick with me for there we go.
EV.
Pardon?
It's EV.
Oh, there you go. See? This thing is it tickles something inside of me. It's maybe just because I like the Cyberpunk world so much. I haven't played the game.
Peak hypocritical.
No, absolutely.
Lotus
absolutely.
boat, terrible, bad.
No, but
Cadillac
look,
boat, good.
I wouldn't want it, and I would think it's really efficient in person. And it is a boat, but it's a bit of a better looking boat. To be fair, the Lotus Elytra is an ugly boat. It's a big ugly boat. The Lotus...
Did we ever get to the point of that Lotus news?
Pardon?
Did we even get to the point of that Lotus
It's just
news?
the Lotus fell off. It's just they fell off.
And they lost $500 million.
Oh!
Pounds.
Also that. Okay, yeah, we will. Hang on.
They only delivered 6,000 cars and lost 600 mil pounds,
God.
which is like 800,000 US.
Oh, that's
800
terrible.
mil US.
They made nothing. They
They made less than nothing, technically.
Yeah, well, yeah. I assume this is going to be a massive loss. Oh, all that to now be on the stock exchange. That one must not have been good. Big up anyone shorting Lotus stock. But this thing, I think it's ugly from the front. I think it's pretty good looking from the back. It's long, but
Why has it got a matte black growth on its door?
this? I don't know. It's like a camera or something. I have no idea. But
why have they felt the need to put it in the cheapest looking matte black plastic they could dig up?
Yeah. But as much as this thing's a boat, the Cadillac's a pretty cool looking boat. It just looks like it's something out of
It
Cyberpunk.
works. Cadillacs are meant to be boaty. That's why it works.
Yeah. Like I'm not as offended if someone like.
It looks stupid, but like, I guess that's kind of the point.
It's the future.
It's the definition of excess. That's what it's meant for.
It's cool in a dumb way to me. Like I long live this thing as long as it only stays in America. Don't put it here. As in like it's like
the
how.
only EV I can see Americans buying.
Yeah, exactly. America is like the world's biggest reality TV show, right? Where the rest of the world gets to watch. This can stay in there, right? It doesn't need to come out anywhere else. I think it's cool.
You can actively see it was a big blocky wagon.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, this has 3 miles of range. We're like, how do we make this somewhat aerodynamic? And have just kind of sweeped it.
But good on them. But yeah, Lotus.
Look how much rake the front windscreen has. Borderline laying down.
And it looks stylish because of it. It's cyberpunk aesthetic. Ooh.
Yeah.
But this thing right here is also a new bit of backlash. But Lotus, speaking of bloody backlash, made like no money. They made negative money. But
they cancelled their good margin cars in favour of high R&D, low sales volume EVs.
But speaking of switching to EVs and falling off a little, what's really sad and what's really somber, honestly, it's actually a massive shame. My personal car brand of all time. In fact, it might pull a Lotus, where Lotus in 2022 they were nominated for best car brand of all time, and in 2023 they were nominated for worst car brand of all time in the Stick Drift Awards. Alpine might be in the midst of a fall off. Alpine Glow concept, bad name, will hit the track for the first time next month. And it's the first Alpine that I've seen with this new light design as well. This new headlight design that they're using. And it is just so upsetting. It is very, very upsetting seeing this thing.
It looks like a Vision Gran Turismo if you had to describe a Vision Gran Turismo to someone who's blind who can draw.
Yeah, it's... Oh, so Alpine is a brand that I really fell in love with over the last little bit. It was mostly the Alpine A110. I remember seeing the Alpine A110 ages ago when it was first announced in the first reveal. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then people were like, they're making another Alpine. And I was like, who the fuck is Alpine? But the Alpine A110 was a like legacy sequel to the old Alpine A110, an old rally car. And it had the sort of bug lights that the Alpine A110 had. And even though not all Alpines had that, they've kind of just taken that as the like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they should have. I think they should have made any of the names that they're taking. I think they should be legacy versions of those, like the Alpine A2, whatever. One of the Alpines is a sequel to a different Alpine, same name, which is like a big square block, but it's just not going to be that. Is the issue?
No.
But
it's pretty hard to make a big square block
Yeah.
in this day and age.
Yeah. But there's some cool Alpines. And then there's this thing, which has the lights from the Alpine upcoming silhouette, whatever that they released. Because Alpine is going fully and entirely electric only, is I believe what it was. They're going electric. They're making 2 SUVs, was it? Or was it 1 SUV? What was the upcoming roster?
Ooh.
Alpine. So I believe they were making 1 4-door, 1...
4-seat. We're getting an
Mhm.
EV A110, an EV 4-seater A110,
Yeah.
which is going to be called the A2. They'd make it the something like the A something.
Yeah.
Then we're getting 2 SUVs and a sedan, aren't we?
I believe... Oh, the hatchback as well.
And the hatchback. So the sedan, the hatchback. 2 A110s, 2 SUVs, sedan, hatchback.
Yeah. So, and they're changing the lights, and they look bad, and they look bad. They're losing what Alpine lights were. They've just gone... Oh, I don't know. Oh, well, they were dots. I don't know. Make them a line. You can clearly see the hatchback they were already doing.
You can see the hatchback. It sticks out a mile.
Yeah, you can see the hatchback that they were doing, and then they switched to whatever this new thing is that they're doing, and it's just so upsetting. An Alpine A110 with this front is gonna be such a shame. So Alpine...
Yeah. Well, I know BEV. So.
Yeah. Alpine made this one car, and I'm not actually too sure how the Alpine A110 did. Did it do well? I mean, it's not doing
currently?
well. Yeah, currently it's not doing well, but...
Would you want to... Because I said this in your server a while back. Would you want to guess how many units it sells per year?
Oh, God.
In the UK?
13, I don't know.
Not quite wrong. 100.
100 units. That's...
I have no idea how they justify its existence.
Yeah. Well, instead, I guess they're going around and doing this.
Right?
Mm.
I will say, why don't more people buy an A110?
Yeah, it's
£53,000 mid-engine rear-wheel drive, 250 horsepower base spec.
Yeah. That's
it's
what I've been talking about. That's what I've been talking about. That's why
why would you buy a Cayman over an A110?
That's why I've got my eyes on a goddamn Alpine A110. But then again, the Alpine A110 is French.
Interior of the A110 is, in my opinion, better than the Cayman.
The thing is, the one thing I do have to go, well, every time I talk about the A110, it is French. To be fair, it is French. And that's the issue.
Yeah, but like...
But it's still... No, it's so good. It's like... It's one of the cheapest goddamn sporty cars you can get. But don't...
When an Emira costs...
Yeah.
If you buy an Emira over an A110, like when they're delivering the Emira to you, they should be like a prank till the car blows up and you don't get your money back. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bad decision.
Hypothetically. Hypothetically, if that was to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alpine, they made this great car. Now they're going EV. The hatchback was almost really cool. The concept looked cool. They didn't just look like a Renault 5.
I did say from the start, they'll never ship it with carbon fiber. They'll never ship it with a big wing and splitter. And
then
they have
weren't
essentially
saying...
just taken all that off.
They were saying that they were going to keep one of the coolest things about it, that it had center steering.
It would have cost way too much.
Yeah, it was going to have center steering, meaning it would have been, it would have been the driving would have been in the center with the 2 seats behind you, either side. And they got rid of that as well. And now I just have no hope. I'm losing hope, Alpine.
It's going to be a Renault 5.
They're
with
doing
some stickers on it.
1 car a year as well. No, I believe that's what they're running. They're running 1 car a year.
They want to. They aren't going to be able to.
Yeah.
Because what are their sales going to do when they discontinue the A110?
Yeah, it's going to be rough. Well, they'll have an EV A110, which I'm sure everyone will buy. I'm sure everyone's going to love an EV A110.
That will sell less than 10 units in the UK. Yeah,
The thing is I say don't buy an A110 because I want to buy an A110. So don't buy it so the value doesn't go up. Please and thank you. Keep the value nice and low.
They better do a final edition before they discontinue the combustion version.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I do goddamn want an A110 though. I dream about it. I'm walking around, I'm cycling around. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get that goddamn A110. I'm gonna get that A110. I keep thinking about driving it, and I'm like, I want an A110, man.
Such a nice interior for the price point as well.
Yeah.
Like,
And,
considering it's a cheap, it's for what it is. It's fairly cheap. It's not like it's made of plastic. It's got like an Alcantara steering wheel and like a dash, and the seats are like an embossed leather.
it's also small. It's a very light car for it would perfectly fit on UK roads. It's lovely for that.
It's basically it's exactly the same dimensions down to basically the centimeter of a Mark III Renault Clio.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Which is amazing. It's small, so it'll work on country roads and whatnot, as well as it's manual and auto. You can either run it
It's not manual, it's dual clutch, but yeah.
whatever that means. All right, whatever that means.
Paddles.
That's manual.
No,
Yeah.
it's nice, sequential.
Yeah, but you're still having to manually sequence, It's not
but
sequencing itself.
It's not manual though, because the car's changing gears for you.
Well, that's more of a stick well,
You're just yeah, that's the point. You're not the car changes the gears for you.
Okay.
You're just telling it when to change gear.
But then why do I have to I'm still manually telling it,
Yeah, but you're not manually changing the gears.
Oh, well, you know what? I don't think stick shifts are manually changing them either, all right? Stick shifts are...
But it is. You move the selector fork to select the next.
You know what? I
Like
think we're going to have to
spinning,
agree to disagree here. So the Alpine A110 has paddles that you can swap to or have it in auto, which is absolutely beautiful. Tell you what, absolutely lovely. I wouldn't mind having it auto, and I wouldn't...
You love the F-Type, they only said that in a while.
Beautiful. Love them for that. But they're not going to win me over, unfortunately, though. The Alpine A110, beautiful car, but now the company is doing this. They've, unfortunately... I still appreciate the hatchback. It tried a lot. It's not what it was going to be. But it went from like a 9 out of 10 to like a 6.
It's basically a trim of the Renault 5 now.
And the
it's
Renault
like the top
5,
trim Renault 5.
And the Renault 5, pretty good for a hatchback.
Depends how much the
A110.
the B290 costs.
I suppose. It is A290. I'm fairly certain.
A290 with the B was the B the concept. Okay.
B was
A290.
something else as well. I think I don't know. The Alpine B whatever. But then now we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see these next few years where they release these next few cars. But that is about. Oh, wait. Also, what I was going to talk about?
Fun fact on the Alpine Glow concept.
Sure.
It's not EV, which is interesting.
Is it not? Oh, okay. Huh.
No. They just have the extra budget lying around to create a hydrogen-fueled combustion engine concept car.
Oh, yeah, so what's this thing doing? What track is it going around and why?
They haven't said yet, I think. They're just kind of like, we like burning money.
I guess so. I mean,
Does it say the article? I had a...
Seems like the only thing burning is their F1 rank.
Entirely, it's going around Spa.
Okay.
It's just a technical demonstration. Like it's just.
All right. Yeah, I guess they're just like, whoa, look,
But where are they getting the money for this from?
Look, they're having fun, is what they're doing. They're having fun. Okay.
And yeah, the accountants, then I can tell you that.
And that's all that matters. But what I was also going to say was the last bit of news here today. The Audi R8, the final one went off the
production line.
The production line. The final one drove its way out, and the Audi R8 is seemingly, finally, for the third year in a row, actually now dead. And Well, it's done. It's done. The Alpine is now not the Alpine. The Audi R8, a car that people very much loved, a car that people knew very iconic, stands the test of time. The older versions as well. It was convertible. It's very convertible, which sucks. It's rather annoying, but it's now gone. They've stopped producing them. I assume they'll sell the ones they finished producing, and Audi are claiming that they're not gonna do anymore. But
oh, they will. They'll find 10 in a barn somewhere they've left by accident.
Yep.
And then rebadge them as ultra special super editions that you must buy now. Because they're ultra limited.
Yep. The Audi R8 was a car that very original. Like when the podcast first started, this the Audi R8 was cancelled then, and then now it's finally recancelled 50 episodes later, which is shocking, absolutely shocking. And
should let it die in peace.
There you go. But then on to the final segment of the Stick Drift podcast. This is where we talk about everything racing games, everything motorsports going on this week. And one of the biggest things that we had go on this week, I hosted the first official, brought to you by the talk show, Demolition League. It was quite the trek. It was, it built up, announced it in a week. It was a stressful week just building up to it. I had a thing set up behind me. I put on a suit. I had a tie on. I got my trophy here. I got goddamn so many people together, and it wasn't without fault though. We while running it, there was a few issues that we came across. The one was the lag. So you competed. So well, let me explain what this was first. This was the first ever Crew Motorfest esports, basically, with the Demolition Royale mode, a battle royale in the game. I ran an esports league basically with the Demolition Royale, with a bunch of streamers head to head up against each other, competing for a prize to win. And that was hosted on my channel. It was with all the streamers with their professional teams, but obviously they're from all over the place. So what was the state of the lag as you played it?
Oh my god. To put this into perspective, one of my teammates posted a screenshot. He was on 268,000 milliseconds of latency. Like, it was, you would die to people, like, you couldn't even see. Like, you'd there just be like, oh, I'm dead now. You turn around and there's no one there.
Yep. You know, someone actually had it worse.
I drove through somebody twice trying to hit them. And then I assume they hit me on their screen and I died, which was fun.
Yeah.
I should have been recording my gameplay because some of that stuff was outrageous.
The funny thing was, though, Tommy, he posted a screenshot later. He actually got it worse. He had 320,000 or something. 320,000 of ping. And it was so bad that you'd get that ping, you'd get the damage on your screen, but then you'd get the ping notification and be like, hey, you had this ping. Sorry, that damage you didn't actually do it anymore.
Yeah.
You get damage refunded. Which was quite the predicament. It's because everyone had to run.
Which means the game can calculate that you didn't hit them on their screen.
Yep.
But it does it when it wants to.
Yeah. So there was a lot of dying to nothing. There was a lot of dying to absolutely nothing. Where you just
got a bit better as we went. The first two games, though, oh my god, that is some of the worst lag I've ever seen in a video game in my life.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. In fact, I do believe I have a clip here of one of the dying to nothings, which I did actually see the other perspective of this clip, and he does hit him on his side, but this is what it looks like for this person playing. He's driving, he drives past one person, someone switches to a monster truck, drives past him.
Yep,
that is
practically what the first two games were like.
He just died. after, like later.
Yeah.
Someone drives like a notable amount behind him and then dead.
It's like 10 meters.
Yep. And the thing is, I saw the other perspective of this, and he does hit him, but he just doesn't hit him here.
When you're on
meaning
200,000 ping, yeah, I'm sure it looked like him on his
it was
screen.
unavoidable for this guy. And obviously that was one of the bigger issues, but that, unfortunately, completely unavoidable. Completely unavoidable because we've got people in America, we got people in EU, so the closest servers we could do that would be lined up was either Africa or Australia. So there's nothing really.
I would.
Yeah, well, no, to be fair, the thing is, the more I think about it, Africa would also still benefit EU fairly. Like, it would be benefit for
I
EU.
think it would also benefit everyone else because they wouldn't be on 260,000 ping.
Yeah, but they'd still be on 160,000, and then Europe.
That's half.
And then
Half of that is an improvement.
But then America would be at like 220,000, right? And that doesn't seem very
still an
fair at all.
improvement.
In fact, speaking of lag, there's actually been an exploit found recently in the Crew Motorfest where if you run a lag switch where you get the game to lag, then you will, it will essentially make it so no one can hit you. No one can crash into you, but you can, how do I even describe it? But you teleport
can hit
around
them with your lagging car. Basically.
Yeah, so you don't hit anyone else on your screen, but for everyone else, you're teleporting around, so you ram everyone else. And that's been found to be an exploit right now in the Crew Motorfest's Grand Race. But hosted this, and the first issue was the servers, unavoidable though. The one avoidable issue, which I didn't clock until it started, was the maths. People would post their match results in the channel. Then I forgot that you gotta add them all together. You gotta add each and every one, and it's to multiplier, because, you know, loot is one way, and then loot's by 2, and kills are by 5. And then there's the winning amount, and there's a lot. It was a lot to calculate. So, in the end, next time, there is gonna be a spreadsheet, which will be coded to just put it in this box, and then a different box just takes that box to calculate it itself. And I just have to put in the base numbers. That's the hope. And that's what will happen for the next one. But the event as a whole went pretty well. Everyone enjoyed it. Everyone had fun. The viewers enjoyed it. People did lose, but it was all about the fun. And the newcomers ended up winning. So we had 6 teams. We had what was pitched as the Titans. Rana the Raccoon, Tommy from Wally. This was mostly because their team members were really sweaty players, but again, no one here really knew Demo Royale, so it could have been anything. Then we had the
whole also having to practically plot on a map if you want to hit someone 3 years in advance, kind of.
Yeah. Then the runner-ups, which was Team Wolfpack, Surfix4's team. These were the runner-ups because they weren't as stacked, but they were an impressive team. So it was likely they might have actually been able to do something. Then we had team the newcomers, AVKB. Those guys played very, very well, but they were completely fresh. We only had 4 teams by this point. No, we had 5 teams, and these guys just appear and were like, "Hey, can we join?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." Brand new channel, really. As in, like, just popped off. 5K subs. Vixel ran with AVKB as the newcomers, and then we had the underdogs, the Beasts, which you were a part of, and finally we had the team just there to chill, team there to have fun, which was King Banana.
Considering we had Vintage Slam, and then another team member literally joined the team a day and a half before.
Yeah.
And he hadn't played the game since launch.
Yeah.
Like I think we did pretty well.
Yeah. Surprisingly
To get
well.
third place with that team.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm amazed.
You had a shoddy first game, but you actually you won a game as well. Your team did win a game. Then we had the final rankings. We had 5 games in the end. Planned more, but then the maths got in the way. But the final ranking was...
Spent half the time doing maths, yeah.
Final ranking was the Wolfpack at 150 points. Then Wally at 196 points. Wolfpack and Wally, I saw Sir Fixfo die like 5 times. Every time he died, it was just, who even killed him? It was just no one was near him.
That's everyone's death. So that every single death, no one hit me on my screen.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it.
No.
Because there's no counter. Because you don't know if they're gonna hit you because you can't see them.
You
so
don't know.
Stupid.
The biggest issue was when they were switching to monster trucks and backs. Switching to monster trucks and backs.
Speed as well.
Yeah.
Slow speed hits, so you can sort of gauge where.
Yeah.
So imagine a big circle around them. Just don't go anywhere near that circle.
Yeah.
But speed, it's just like, they don't hit you.
Yeah.
But you die.
But then we had Team Wally in 196. They also got very unlucky with a lot of their lag, but so was everyone. So Fixfo also terrible loot spawns. Like almost every game, they got the worst drops.
That's the thing about Demo Royale.
Yeah.
Where you spawn is where you spawn the entire map rotation.
Yeah.
So if you spawn in a place with 0 loot near you, you're getting that the entire time you're there.
Then we had in 4th was Team Kingdom on 231. So Wally had 196. Then 231, a difference of about 45 points. Then, with only 13 points more.
Did you check the points, by the way?
I haven't gone back through. No.
Because Aura kind of forgot 3 times while calculating our points where he was.
Well, I guess I'll have to.
Yeah, I would double check that.
But then with 13 points ahead, we have the Beasts on 244.
Easy beam.
And then what's absolutely wild is with a 150-point gap was Rhino the Raccoon in 2nd place. And in 1st place with another 100 gap was AVKB.
What were the I didn't even look at the scores once. What are the points for winning?
Points for winning were 39.
Is that over the base?
How do you mean?
Is that like what?
Oh
was
no,
there
so
a
it's
win
39
bonus?
in total. It's 39 in total.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it for 2nd place?
2nd place was like 28.
Okay, so it's like 11-point bonus.
Yeah, 11 points for a win. So it was a fair bit. People were talking about how you
I
can just
assume Rhino's team had a high kill game.
Yeah. They had the highest point game of the night. With 172. In fact, that game, I talked about it, that game that they had, there was only 9 people in that lobby who they didn't kill.
Yeah, that was the game they had. That is where their gap from over us came from, that one game.
Yeah, they had 172
like,
point
even if
game.
our 1st and 2nd games went better and we got 2nd place, we would have still been 50 points off them.
Yeah. I think the Beasts, actually, I believe you guys hold the lowest point of the night. Oh, no, you don't, to be fair, no. Sir Fixfo, very unfortunately, had a 14-point game. But some people did mention how it's unfortunate how you can get, like, the spectrum. They said that the points need to be condensed more, because you can get 14 points, or you can get 172
The point
points.
system, I think, does need a rewrite. Because when there's like a 130-point gap and then a 100-point gap between 1st, 2nd, and then 3rd, it's a bit silly. Because there's no physical way we could have made 130 more points, I don't think.
Yeah, well, Rhino would have had to have been asleep.
To get an extra 130 on, like, essentially 240 more points.
Yeah.
There's no physical way we could have gotten that.
I just realized the winners doubled your points in 3rd, which is wild.
Like, there's no conceivable way we could have got anywhere close to that.
Then again, the winners did have 2 wins that night. As well as...
the win bonus is 11, basically. It's not...
Sure, but as well as above average on their team, name, checks out, by the way, with the highest kill game of the night. He had 8 kills just to himself on that game. And then his team...
Where does he live, by the way?
I'm not too sure. I think they're
Because it looked like he had a noticeable peg advantage, because every time I saw him...
As far as I'm aware, they're all Europe. Yeah, all Europe.
Are they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
I would raise an eyebrow at that one.
but yeah, above average. Absolutely destroyed with 8 kills. Did a bunch in the first game, and they did win 2 of the 5 games. I think that point lead might have been justified.
Double?
Huh?
Double the points?
Yeah, double the points is wild.
There's no. I think even with how poorly we did we could have won those first 2 games with 3 kills. There would still be a 100-point deficit.
Yeah. So
there's no we would have to have.
Oh, also, what I did hear was someone who was watching their stream and my stream at the night did mention they came podium every single game. Like they had kills and podium every single game.
The kill weighting's so heavy, especially how RNG the kills were.
Yeah, I guess the kills are a lot more RNG than
considering
expected. Yeah,
you die to someone's thoughts.
Yeah,
the kills being worth that many points is ridiculous. That's where all their points were, I think.
And a bunch of loot. They were maximizing loot every game. Like looking at this, 3rd place with only 3 kills between them, but 18 loot, which is an extra 36 points. 36 points. Which it's that little bit extra that adds on. Then the extra, and then the extra, and then the extra. So
again, loot is complete RNG.
Yeah. But yeah, they did very well. All things considered, they destroyed. First match. Oh god, never mind. No, you guys did have the lowest points of the night.
I was gonna say because off drop.
Yeah.
It was us versus the AVKB team, I think. We were rolling one of them, and then I don't know what another team came in, and we just got flattened. Every single one of them had monster truck.
Yeah.
And on that latency,
that first game was wild as well because Kingdom's team, his team got whittled down to 1 player start game. And then he made 2nd. Like, he carried his team, got kills at the end as well.
Yeah. That's where we had just a lack of player skill. Because Smiley and Vintage were left alive after the first just getting wiped out.
Yeah, and
Smiley just drives off a rock and gets stuck upside down and doesn't know how to flip his car back over. And then Vintage drives into some sand and just forgets how to move forward, apparently.
You had 12 points from that game.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind, you had 12 points that game. AVKB that same game, 133 points.
I was going to say, fun fact, we could have scored 100 points in that game, would still been 3rd.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have made much of a difference.
It was insane point gap. Rhino also...
You couldn't have a bad game.
No,
to get top 2, you had to get good points every single game you played.
I think it was also because there was
drop once, podium again, basically.
It was also because there were so few games. I needed to... the maths being sorted out for the next one, there's going to be way more games running. Because it will be just a case of...
If we're playing on the same servers, the weighting needs to be changed.
Yeah.
The RNG level in it is a bit silly, really.
Yeah. But, was a bunch of fun. And as far as I'm aware, everyone did enjoy it. Everyone, had a bunch of fun, just competing like that. And what I've heard so much is what I wanted to hear, and the whole reason I've hosted this whole thing, which is just... Demo Royale's pretty fun. Oh goddamn! I didn't know Demo Royale was this fun. I didn't know that this mode even existed. It's got people playing the game because a Smiley just messaged me like just now. He was like, "Oh yeah, Demo League was really enjoyable. Actually got me playing Motorfest now." Actually competing. So many people overlook the mode.
Opposite for me, I think. Like, it's made me want to play it, sure, but it's reminded me how little they've done to it since launch.
Yeah.
Because we played a ton first month of the game.
Yeah.
Like, that's where most of my DR stats have come from. Nothing's changed. You still get server timeout. You still get desync hit on your own servers. Like, nothing has been fixed.
Fair,
you still get poor loot spawns.
I've been playing it recently. I don't feel any more desync, thankfully. I don't feel any more,
You haven't played at peak server times, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
It still happens.
Yeah.
When in warm-up games we were playing on normal Europe servers, it's just... If someone is... I don't know, say you're on Europe server and someone's pinging in from North Serbia or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck.
Oh no. someone's sabotaging me. A post is getting a bunch of likes right now. Oh, modern cars are quite boring, but here's some good ones. And it's the GR Yaris and the Alpine A110.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people are posting that now because I think everyone knows it's coming to an end and it's cheap.
Yeah. No, don't hype up the A110. Don't keep it low price, please. Don't up spike in value, please.
It seems to have plateaued massively. They are still around the £34,000 mark.
Yeah.
Used.
Oh, but yes. Then Forza, I believe, finally released their Ford Raptor for everyone. The Ford Raptor, whatever it was, is out for everyone.
And the Terminator Cobra Mustang thing as well.
Also, like, what, you're telling me more people did off-road races than on-road races? What, like, you're telling me more people in this time have done the off-road races than on-road? What does the racing game community come to? What is...
in Forza, it makes sense, I guess.
I mean, I guess, yeah, any races with no off-road slowdown, yeah, I guess so. It's off-putting when you play Forza and there is just, like, you can just drive off-road in, like, a Lamborghini and you're just doing top speed. Like, it's baffling.
Well, it's jarring going from Crew 2 to Crew Motorfest, because in Crew 2 you can, like, clip the grass, it don't really matter. In Motorfest, if a speck of dust is on your front bumper, you've lost 200 miles an hour of speed.
Yeah, it's rough. It's
like hitting a brick wall.
Yeah. But Forza Horizon 5, we got that, and then I believe they're not too far away from their next update month. Speaking of update months, Motorfest is going into their Steer Online week, which there's also been a bunch of backlash this week. A YouTuber has made a video about the Crew 1 shutdown, and that made it to Mudahar's channel. There was also some shenanigans in the subreddit. There was some odd takes from all across the board. There was, very unfortunately, some death threats and stuff like that, which is always terrible. Look, if you're fighting for, like, a good cause, why be a terrible person? Why do that? Because preserving games, yes.
There's no better way to get your point thrown out than making threats.
Yeah. Like, it's just, it's become absolutely useless now.
It's like, no one's going to listen to you or take you seriously after that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You just discredit the whole conversation. But to fight against that a little, there was some odd takes. Someone was like, the game was shut down. Someone posted about it, and they were like, stop posting this link. Oh, because what happened is they started revoking the license. So the license to the game, they now are taking that away from you, which, what does that actually mean, I guess? That means you don't own the game anymore, right?
The game's just gone from your library because you don't own the license key for it.
Yeah, like you do not own the game anymore at all.
I don't think you own the game anyway. Like, even Motorfest, you don't own the game.
I guess, yeah.
Lease
it's online.
the right to have the game in your library.
Yeah.
For a certain duration.
And that's what digital does, I guess. That's what digital's doing. Obviously, if you had the game yourself, you're fine.
It's the same with Spotify. You don't own the song. You're licensing the right to listen to the song.
Exactly, yeah. It's rough. And then on top of that, though, there was a take which was odd. It was like, they were posting that link about it getting license revoked. And someone was like, oh, stop posting this link. A game you haven't played in years is getting shut down. Or boo-hoo, I'm just playing Motorfest right now. And it was like, look, as much as threats discount that side, absolutely, and it's nowhere near as severe as that, having that attitude just makes the side of the Crew shutdown look bad. And why would you want to be on the side of a shutdown anyway?
Yeah, I was going to say, that side's not exactly got many legs to stand on.
Like, before the shutdown announcement, I already had plans to go back to the game. People do go back to a game. Look, I don't go to Burger King often. But I wouldn't want them to be completely shut down, never to exist again, because I don't go to them that often. I don't think going to it that often should negate the reason for it to exist. You don't get something taken away if you haven't used it that often. I've got a monitor cleaner spray. I don't use that too often. So I don't know why. I don't think that means that the police can come and take away my monitor. First, they're gonna take my monitor cleaning spray. Next, they're gonna take my job. First, they take the crew. It's so it wasn't a good argument. It wasn't a good argument that just because some people were only up in arms about it now isn't a good argument to be like, well, it's fine if it got shut down, because yeah, they're up in arms now because it's being taken away from them. When you know it's there, you're fine. I've got so many things that I don't use, but like I don't want them taken away from me. It was a weird take, and that was posted in a Mudaha video. The subreddit was in tatters. It was every other post being questionable, but also some valid ones getting taken down, any and everything. People talking about that. The license revoke was shoddy. More stuff like essentially just massive backlash as the content creator, I forget the name, is now suing Ubisoft. Or he's doing like petitions. He's doing stuff in every country basically. He's got one for Canada.
He's not going to get very far considering it's in the terms of service he agreed to.
Yeah, that's the issue. But then again, EU would be the ones to get past something like that.
Yeah, but it's in the terms of service that you agreed to.
See, but then again, EU is the type to go, it shouldn't be in the terms of service, and then spank them, right? Like
it's not going to be retrospective.
Yeah, but it'll stop it never happening in the future. I think that's the point, right? It's most people will just be like, we need to preserve games. This is started because
it's not going to reach court in the next 4 years, let alone get a verdict. So.
Oh no, not at all. But look, it's an uphill battle. It absolutely is. There's no point in not fighting, I guess, right? Like, sure, it's not going to get anywhere, but if it's a good cause to be fighting for. So he's sending that up the chain. There's ones for Brazil. There's ones for Europe. There's ones for everywhere. And it's a hashtag Stop Killing Games. Definitely do check that out. Search him up. Give him the view. Give him the awareness. The boost in the algorithm. Just as such, Stop Killing Games. It should come up, and he can probably explain all of it much better than I can. But he's got like petitions and stuff. Which like you go in, you select your country, and then it tells you exactly what you can do for your country. Yeah, so go ahead and do that. And it was a big spout recently due to the Crew 1 getting shut down. Very sad, very dumb, very... we'll talk about it in a different episode. Need for Speed. Test Drive Unlimited. And then I think that's basically everything going on in the world of racing games. Actually, to be fair, Test Drive Unlimited, I believe... today? Hang on. Okay, that's quite convenient. I go on their thing and they posted today. That's what are the odds of that? Yeah, they're having a closed playtest, which I guess it's I suppose it shows that like they're still working on the game. They're still very
almost playable.
Yeah. I guess that's where we're at. But what is going on in the world of motorsports?
I mean, not much to be honest, really.
Yeah.
No F1 again, like usual. There was the Goodwood. They have the revival, and then the members meeting. Members meeting was last weekend. So yeah, Saturday, Sunday. I didn't watch any of it, so I can't tell you anything about it. But it was happening. I've closed my MotoGP results. On that news, MotoGP was this weekend as well.
And I believe this is the first one under being owned by Formula One, right?
Honestly, I've got no idea when the ownership takes effect. Do they own them now? Do they have any say now?
No,
Does it start next year? Who knows? I don't know.
They'll probably wait for this season to be over, I guess.
Yeah. And even now, I don't think it's going to have an effect for a few years, because there's no real... What are they going to do?
Give other races chassis?
It's just promotion, I think. Yeah. Why are Williams getting a MotoGP?
Exactly.
But a race was pretty good, actually, to be fair. Winner was, I think, started P3. Yeah. Dropped down to 11th at the start. Flew his way back to the win. Huh. Pedro Acosta and Bastianini were second and third. So, actually a good race.
Yeah.
Marc Marquez, I wonder if you can guess what he did.
I span out.
He crashed
What?
out from the lead. Average Marc Marquez outbraking the wind this time. I guess I don't know who was outbraking.
Disappointed. I expected better from Marcus.
Recent unexpected brake problem caused Marquez's crash.
Of course. As in, the unexpected problem was he didn't brake.
He goes at about 400 mile an hour too quick. So I don't know what unexpected brake problem that was.
Yeah.
He braked too late. I don't know. Yeah, that's about it. It was, I mean, Bagnaia is having a stinker considering he's won the last 2 championships back to back, to be in 4th in the championship.
Yeah.
Behind the rookie.
Mm.
He's gonna have a hard time putting that back. But yeah, we'll see. Next race is in 2 weeks, and then we get F1 race this weekend. So easy beams.
Yeah.
Williams are gonna win this F1 race. I'm telling you now.
And I guess that's
Williams,
all there is in.
1-2.
What is
Albon,
the race?
Sargent.
What's this next race?
China.
Well, I'm not trying to watch it. Well,
that was terrible. On that night,
we will hear from that next week. We'll see you boys in the next one. The next episode of Stick to Podcast. Leave a like, leave a review on Spotify and whatnot. Whatever, anything, anywhere, anyone prompts you to do, just do it. Just become a drone for the society and just do what anyone ever tells you to and look down and act like nothing is wrong. Also, we watched Fallout. Pretty good.
Fallout good, yeah. Watch Fallout, please.
If you want to watch,
if
you want to watch anything, go watch Fallout. It's pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
We'll see you boys in the next
the people in it, like from Fallout, the game.
Exactly. When are we getting a crew game? That's about it.
When are we getting a crew game? That's a good point.
A crew movie.
I missed the crew.
That's what I mean. Yeah. All right.
Crew game when?
A bit.